Yeah, what next? Copenhagen has a funny shaped territory. Like
Yeah.
mushroom. It's mushroom shaped.
The question is on the eastern side, if you could potentially, probably, I would think that the between Count Ludenhof, just because rivers make more easily definable barriers than the forest edge does, but it's just one more instead of a barrier. So
this is still like medieval simulation kind of stuff, right?
Yeah.
There's probably not ultimately a super hard barrier or border between like each of these individual counts within the empire.
Exactly. So
they're
it's
just
all
like,
variable.
hey, this village and the people there. Ask someone if they live nearby. It's like, are you part of this village? Well, then you're mine.
Right, and it's pretty much, I would think, about as with the area that you can logically defend, right? So if it's like 10 miles away from, and that's it, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Oh my god. Advancement 1. What how many advancements exist? Have 36. Ah. Oh, back to square one.
Victor, meanwhile, is set up to 42. How has he changed? He got a lot more talkative. And he still can't hit anything.
Oh yeah, I have mimic. What a useful talent! I can do great imitation.
I mean, it is. You're just not that kind of guy.
No, I'm not. Yeah, it's not an useful talent for me.
Well, I mean, to be seen. Now I gotta figure out what font I made these names in, so I can change Gustav to Waldemar.
What? Why does I... Wait. Why do I have a magic characteristic? No, starting 0 magic.
80% haggle, guys.
Oh my.
Do you? What's my haggle?
Oh, it's movement!
Oh,
Shit.
I never put anything to haggle. Mine's only 43.
Oh.
My
Well,
untrained
then, boy,
haggle.
do I have a deal for you.
19!
Yeah, do you have a deal for me?
Hey,
'Cause I have a
Alfred.
deal for you. Let me just take you out for drinks first so I can charm you.
Oh my god.
I like ya. Man, you drive a hard bargain.
My 76...
So I'll give you the discount rate of twice the original price.
Really? Because I think I could sell it back to you for twice that still. That's alright, we still never talked about positions.
That'll be fun. I gotta get back into the Victor mindset. I gotta go pull Victor's history.
Yes, what about your fourth child?
Just to let everybody know that there's probably going to be some background noise, and I have no control over it. Basically, our neighbors moved away.
Shoot them.
We're washing the roof and doing other stuff to it, so it's like, if you hear weird noise, that's what it is, and you can't control it. So
Break out the BB gun, start hitting them.
Although I don't have my AR here, so sadly that fires a little bit spicier bullets than just pebbles.
Paint gun them.
Or pellets. But...
Damn it, I cannot remember what this font is. Waldemar might just have a different font from everybody else.
Oh no.
So, yeah, it's
I literally answered one question from where are you from? Nordland. Well, it's Nordland. Okay. Warhammer is kind of pudgy. Is he?
What are you talking about?
My character, I rolled all of his physical characteristic, and I don't remember.
I mean, how tall are you?
Wait, he has red hairs! Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh no! Well, he dyed his hair. He like to dye his hair.
Brown. He dyed it the worst color.
No, brown. It dies a brown because the picture I've got is not of a red-haired man at all.
Just have him be related to Gustav, and all sorts of weird, bad shit will happen to him at random.
I mean, I could try.
So one day you'll be asleep, and then you get thrown against the wall.
Yeah. And then my winner won't work no more.
Yeah, Gustav.
Thanks, Gustav.
Got not thrown against the wall, but now his wiener don't work either. So
Gustav, cold in milk science.
Yeah, but no, you remember one of his random relatives got tossed like 30 feet.
Just out of a blue in the middle of the night.
Related to Gustav.
Only
Yeah,
pain
so-
and misery.
Gonna go home, check up with the relatives, and oh, poor Uncle Jeffrey. I don't know, he was just up on the deck one day, and then boom! I guess
Someone
a
slapped him off like
rough
magic.
wind picked up, and now he's stuck in the chair all the time.
Oh no. Oh no.
I mean, there's got to be
Nice.
some sort of explanation for the common folk.
Demons probably. Or evil spirits, which is not far from the truth,
I mean, it's
actually.
like, yeah, being caught in like a Freddy Krueger nightmare. Just all of a sudden you get thrown.
Yeah.
Watching someone crawling up the wall, screaming, "Help me!"
Help! My milk is turning bad. Help! Grass
Screw
is
it.
dying.
I'm using this font.
Actually, since like Gustav folks are farmer, like plants dying off would be a big deal to them, as would be milk. Falling.
Yes, now there's a little bit more stakes because Grim and
Yeah,
We
but-
have to live in this place that we've overhunted for the past month.
Yep.
Eh,
That was eat the beastman if you really wanted to.
Beastman.
He's like chicken.
Tastes like turducken.
It's like mutations.
tastes like cancer and mutations.
Yeah. So, are you there, Ark, or are you? See, he's in the call. Just want to make sure he's here.
Yeah.
Okay. So, do you still need some? Are you still working on your character, or are you more or less complete, Emmerich?
Me? Oh, I'm done. No, I'm done.
Oh, okay.
Voldemort, friendly
Yep.
watchman from Nordland who lost his town and was rescued by the Temple of Shalia and felt like he had a debt to Shalia, so took up the mantle of an initiate and got to Grim and Iron after hearing they might need help.
So yeah, this is going to prompt questions. So he left essentially with the Shellians.
He is a survivor, and yeah, he left with Shalians, so,
Okay.
because like everything got destroyed, so he didn't really know what to do, you know.
Okay. So I'll try to refrain from him leaving amongst the the convent of attractive young ladies to.
Nah, they didn't let him. He had no interest,
Yeah.
but like, to be a wandering priest. Here's your Bible. Oh, here's your
Right,
Bible.
God
Your
in the-
sergeant tool. Go do
The
some
word.
good.
There's
Yes.
also there's tons of places in the world what need to be.
Yeah, and
from
also
the,
glad because like, Chilean priests have it hard. Ooh.
I think they talk about in the in one of the books actually where
Yeah.
it's like people are creeping on Shellian priestesses, so
Yeah,
the old
yeah,
ladies
it's-
come out.
This conversation, they also say like when they do that, they send the oldest sisters to and some adventurers fake having like creeping on Shalia's priestess because they will get the most experienced sister to take care of their wounds,
Exactly.
which is not
Genius.
a bad idea. I mean, still creepy, but
So does that mean people are gonna harass you so that they can get
I
more experienced priest to help them?
they'll have they'll be disappointed because
I mean, yeah, but I mean, that's not their point. Their point is that if I
I-
sexually
I'm-
harass this young man, I'm gonna get an old woman who's more experienced.
I mean, maybe, but I don't know what sexually harass. I mean, plenty of people, I guess. Never mind. People are weird and creepy.
I stabbed myself just to get close to you.
I like you as
Now
a
heal me
friend.
quickly.
You spill your pants.
No.
Uh,
Oh,
Ark, are you there? Or are you muted?
Yes, I'm here.
hello.
So we're all here. So last time, I guess then we can get the road on the show. So last time, our intrepid heroes successfully defended the attack from Grimmenhagen of the Beastmen, as well as finally putting to rest the siege of ownership from Grimmenhagen, from Graf Sternhauer. It was a fierce assault that resulted in the death of most of the refugee humans to the numbers that Berthold had. So the question is, who exactly are you going to be playing with today?
Who, me?
Yeah. I said it wrong again, didn't
was Berthold.
Berthold. Okay. Because you've got Lash again, and you've got all sorts of fun characters on the side too. So okay. And Griff, you'll be playing Victor, our halfling. I guess what path have you decided to go for?
I am currently an innkeeper working on being a merchant.
Okay, so
I
then
bought
it's
all the stuff I need to set up shop down here. Now, if someone could just
Hey.
help me nail this in.
well, all right. So as far as the story advancement goes, it's going to be assumed to be about 2 or 3 months from when the siege ended. So in that amount of time, Alexa has sort of left with a group of people to found the village called Platners. It's right up there in the Howling Hills, and she's comes back and forth, but some kind of religious vision. And ever since, you can always see in the distance on Platners there is a burning light, and people who visit there say, "Yep, they've got not quite tower, but there's always a fire burning."
To that, Gustav, well, returning, if I can, like, intervene. Sorry, I should have asked first. Gustav will probably send letters to make sure she's okay, not going back to a fire obsession. You know,
Oh, well,
Romania.
you find out, yeah, it's not the same. In the lore for Alexa's background, she got suitably crazy after fighting demons, where she gained an actual insanity that was pyrophilia, essentially. But
But now she's all on about Dawes and keeping the flame alive.
yes, so it's not about so much that as it is there was some sort of religious revelation that she had. Stays in contact well enough, but there's probably about a dozen families that followed her there.
Gustav would have probably returned to Middenheim with, sending letters from now and then and visiting and warning against little people with red hats.
Yes.
No.
The conspiracy of the red-hatted weird gnome people. So
Yes. But we all know mages are crazy, so he's making this up.
oh
Surprisingly, yeah.
yeah, Gustav did technically make it high up into the order, so he is somebody of import, but he most certainly has had some run-ins, shall we say. So doing his thing. As for the rest of the party, Victor, yes, has established kind of a small inn or tavern. What exactly are you naming this establishment?
Well, that's a good question. Well, given that we spent a lot of time out here really working together, trying to get this off the ground, I'm going to call it the long fight.
Long fight. Okay. I like it. And then I know
should
that
definitely write that down.
one step ahead of you, but consequently we'll be using a similar map, I'm sure, as we'll finally figure that
Oh
out.
boy.
But Morden, I know that you were discussing at some point of starting a forge or something along that lines for weapons towards rune smithing.
Yes.
Did you have any specific thoughts on that? I think you were thinking about working with Alexa, but she's kind of gone off to Platiners, and I needed to wait until the game started to sort of reveal that.
Right. So he's looking for a small urban plot in like the middle section, not like the slums and not in like Berthold's area.
Mm-hmm. Well, the good news is that the buildings have been semi-leveled, if not fully leveled, and land is essentially where you want it.
Okay.
You'd essentially, since Berthold's the one in charge, would have the final say on it, but of course you can, as finding a plot goes, it's almost a no-brainer. So you can certainly do that.
Excellent.
As far as materials go, again,
Yeah, shoot. Did I just cut in and out?
There is some static, but you're
Okay.
still here.
Okay, yeah, my mic is acting up. Could one of you say something?
Hello, hello.
Yeah, your mic is still doing it
Okay,
again.
there we go. It's okay. Sorry about that. So, as far as building material goes, Grimmenhagen has tons of flake, and there's always lumber. Beyond that is sort of hard to acquire. It's literally the aftermath of a battle zone. Of like picking through the ruins, and last time we were playing, a lot of the peasants kind of got sidetracked on digging through what sort of stuff was out there. After a couple months, yeah, people are living in not quite tents, but more like lean-tos, and but it's being slowly built up. It's not because there's nowhere to stick them, it's just that rebuilding a city takes a lot of time.
Incredibly true.
As far as the settlements around you go, there's been a lot of talk about them not being empty, as a matter of fact. There's been scouts, of course, who go out and on patrol, but it seems as though a number of monsters and other strange phenomena have been taking place in a lot of the ruins of those small towns. So, probably the most overt Untergard has been taken over by a band of mutants, as a matter of fact, and as reports come by, it's almost become common knowledge at this point that they are led by a four-armed red devil bastard with wings who claims to be the mutant son of a nobleman. So he's that is proving to be an issue, but so far he's not made on anybody yet. But he's certainly limiting travel up and down the river there, which I believe is the River Telb.
It's gotta have a name somewhere, but yeah.
Yeah, no, it's actually in the layout. Yeah, it is the River Telb. That crosses underneath it used to have if you follow that river upstream, it'll lead all the way to Altdorf. But traffic and things going downriver are kind of getting blocked there, which is a shame because that would go all the way to Grimmenhagen as well. As far as the surrounding area, most of the other nobles on the map there, the barons and baronesses and whatnot, searching for them, you have no idea what happened there. Everything is still kind of in shambles and communication is kind of broken down. It's rather dangerous in the forests, as you can imagine. There's all sorts of bands of beastmen. There's movements about, of course, but then there's also stranger rumors. The least of which to hold the most amount of water is there seems to be strange lights out in the trees at night. Kind of come back and said, don't go out into the woods after dark. You start seeing almost like marsh lights or will-o'-the-wisps or something like that, and moving around and dancing in the trees. And some people have even claimed that they started hearing whispers of their name and other strange sounds, laughter, and are trying to say, oh, maybe it's haunted. But that's kind of the cursory. You'd have to look more into that if you wanted to follow that particular. Apart from that, too, the closest settlement that's still in one piece is Delbers, which Plattner's out for the trade caravan that kind of goes from Delbers over land, crosses north of it, and then goes in over to Grimmenhagen over the rivers there. It's kind of a roundabout way, but it's being guarded by Middenstag is a little bit dangerous because it goes through the hills. So, by Untergard. I know where we're at. If anybody has any questions or comments or things I can add on.
Where's everybody where?
So,
Everybody is based right now in Grimmenhagen.
Yes.
So
we got a lot of territory to kind of like cover here, and a lot of stuff happening.
Well,
I guess-
yeah.
So I guess the only question is like the current state of Grimmenhagen itself. How many people are finally living here, and how many people actually can actively defend it? Because
Well,
recall, we mostly had peasants and mob them up.
Well, as far as population, it's actually rather crowded. There's about 4,000 people, I think, is what we calculated in total.
We didn't
And
spread out over 2 months.
You've spread out probably in smaller farmsteads and other around Grimmenhagen, but it's sort of an island in the middle of situation, I guess you could say. All of those
Right,
former...
nobody necessarily wants to go back to one of the villages and then be ambushed by beastmen. And then
Well-
we just lose 300 people.
I would say that this is something we would have covered in the 2 months between, if we want to discuss this right now.
We can discuss it.
Because you remember,
So do you
I at
want
least had 2 points to bring up from before, which I guess we can just discuss together now since it wasn't in the last 2 weeks. The
Go ahead.
determining the amount of money in the coffers from Grimmenhagen, as when we last left off, that was something that was brought up. And I had listed 2 suggestions to that matter. Investing in rebuilding the support structure of the province, roads, farms, buildings, wells, bridges, etc. And then holding a percentage of that in reserve as an emergency fund to take care of emergencies to the province as they come along.
Well, as far as the wealth left over, the question is, what do you want to do with Graf Sternhauer and his family? Because if they take a lot of their possessions, they'll try to bogart a lot of that wealth. You do see that
I think last time it did end with the wife and family leaving with personal possessions, but the main treasury was still there.
And the Graf is dead, isn't he?
Yes, the Graf, in fact, has been murdered very brutally.
So,
And
then
I
in that
kind
case-
of hand-waved because I was willing to let them all die, because I offered to let them go peacefully at first, and then he did the whole thing. It resulted in 600 of my people dead, and I was not happy about that.
Yeah.
But I
Well,
believe I left
you
that
could-
into the hands of everybody else.
you could say that they left and only to be ambushed and killed along the road. I mean, that is also possible.
I think
Would that
Gustav
be
left
something
with
that,
them, didn't they?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
It was, in
So
fact,
they
Gustav's
did-
idea to try to mitigate the crowd and
Yes.
walk away with them.
In that case, the treasury is suitably large enough to continue support going from Delbers in terms of food and building up some of the infrastructure. It's not so much the money as it is the goods themselves, since pretty much the entirety of the infrastructure and the village support is gone. Main city where that's been unaffected is Delbers. But as you can imagine, shortages result in higher prices, and they're having their own hands full.
Well, I mean, my family is also the nobility over there as well, so that gives me
Right.
a suitable political connection, as well as the fact that
Indeed.
Delbers falls outside of my borders.
Delbers is connected by the Altdorf-Middenheim Road. It is a bit of a hike, but it does connect to the most populous city in the Empire. And the demand for goods and materials is certainly being made aware of. So, North is, or at least the powers that be seem to be aware of the problem, but as far as support and the logistics behind it is a lot more difficult, since the army is still active in the Middle Mountains.
Right. Middenstag is a fortress of its own with its own... it's outside of... It's inside of our territory. It's outside of our ability to control. That is
That's right.
That is a toddy situation, and I am not
That's
touching
right.
it.
Exactly. So Middenstag itself is sort of a that's charged with guarding the road between the Howling Hills and Uttergard. Recent times, it's sort of turned into its own little island of misfortune, where the knights inside are trying to keep the road open to Delbers and not get stuck there. The Howling Hills is named the Howling Hills not because of anything like that, but it's because of the wind, and it's a very good place to ambush people with outlaws. So that's only gotten worse in time. As a matter of fact, Graf Sternhauer banished a number of people to a large swamp west of Middenheim, and a number of them have seemingly returned in his absence. So,
All right.
And I suppose they all came down this way. Yeah.
they came through Schoninghagen, so down the western.
All right. Well, on to item 2.
Hmm?
Determining the new government of this here province. I mean, obviously, I'm the Graf.
Grimmenhagen itself.
Well, the province. I'm saying, air quotes, the province, because if Berthold is talking about things, Berthold will say province, and not just Grimmenhagen, as Berthold has always had plans.
So yes, so how exactly are you going to govern it? Are you going to... Yeah,
Well,
that's a good question to answer.
now, I am not completely versed in all methods and formulations of government, so there might be a specific name for this, but I'm looking at dictatorship by representational democracy. Which is to say that I am the top of the pyramid, and I have the final say as Graf, but every province in my... Oh, every territory in my province, towns,
I believe parliamentary monarchy might be the word you're looking for.
Sure. But every town and, location in my province will have representation, which will then send advisors and whatnot to Grimmenhagen, which will then plead their cases, and then I will have an advisory council beneath myself to come to me with their specific concerns, with each advisor covering a specific matter of state that I would then need to be, briefed upon. So I have final say, but the advisors then have, more sweeping power in the province.
Yeah, so it is sort of like a mini
think that's-
monarchy in a way.
I think that's how the imperial system works, isn't it?
Yeah. The imperial system does have sort of councils of mayors of little towns like that, or villages rather.
Right. I'm saying
the
it would be,
petition-
The empire itself is sort of parliamentary as well, with all the various counts.
right. So I'd
Right,
be
it's
top
not
of
an
the
absolute
graph,
monarchy.
advisors beneath, and then town nobles beneath that.
Okay.
And of course, I've
Well, as
already
far-
suggested to you guys who I think should be my advisors.
Right, and I think I was very much on board with that. So as the person with, the first business in Grimmenhagen, I go, well, I'm totally in favor of this.
So since we're recording it here, I can always just read off what we wrote down, just for the sake of not brevity or levity, but just so we know kind of what's going on. As far as the choices go, Alexa's actually
Gone,
available.
yeah.
She's kind of
Well, I mean,
But-
we have a couple of NPCs we could throw in there too, because I'm assuming the people that were in charge of the siege on the opposite side, not under Burke's control, but were actually important, if not nobles themselves, would also have a chance. You know, like Bruce and that other old guy whose name I never remembered.
Captain.
The guy who's been here since like the very first session. His name was Captain Gerhard Schiller.
Yeah, I assume
He's
they
from
would
Untergard.
also be options.
Well, so we have written down is Victor as the master of the trade, Morden as chief justice, Schilling or Bruce as the military commander, and the new Shalyan initiate Waldemar as the master of intelligence. So
Of what?
a master of intelligence, so lore and wisdom.
Oh, sure.
Lore and wisdom advice, as well as matters of spycraft.
Yes, I'm not sure how
Oh.
big of a sneaky boy he is.
I
He's
mean,
not
it-
at all.
yeah, but
Well, I
you,
guess
if
like here
you're,
could be the negotiation and the introduction of the new character. How do these two interact and reach this agreement?
I mean, you could also just, you know, if you're smart enough, find people who are good enough in matters of spycraft to then report to you about.
He's not that smart and not that comfortable at all.
Well, I mean, this is going to be the failing of our province then. I mean, it's not like we have to be that great of a people. We can still fail at things.
Yeah, in terms of spycraft, there aren't a whole lot of people who really qualify. He's
Well,
kind of sneaky and can listen to people, but that's about it. He didn't go spy.
I mean, it's not so much like counter spy stuff. It's the master of intelligence. You are the most advisory of all the advisory positions because you tell me things that I should act upon. And maybe
no.
the spycraft thing is you getting information from other places that other people might not have, and then you could operate on that.
I'm terrible at it.
Be the coy boy.
I'm just.
Kind of sounds like he's a shy.
You like to gossip, but that's.
All right, I got the counter to
we
that
do
then.
have two options.
You know, Mordrin can be the master of intelligence, and you could be chief justice. You know, be merciful to those who seek to do us harm.
Sure.
Overseer of laws and justice.
Sure.
I'd also like to throw out two suggestions in terms of intelligence and spycraft here. There are two people who seem like they have a whole bunch of skills. First would be Granny, who actually probably lives somewhere. Who knows what she's up to? She's old.
Didn't
can
she
do healing,
die?
But she's
No,
she's still alive.
I thought she
She
died in the
cannot
siege.
die.
no, she didn't.
That's one possibility. Let's hear the other options.
The other option might be, through some possibility, Alexa or Gustav suggesting contacting Lauren Ettlinger, or maybe any of his shadow mages.
Gustav could stay in the Sando Mages to assist a noble.
There was at least one young woman shadow mage who
Yeah.
tried to assist Gustav for a short while.
You'll
Dee,
never
I think
have-
I called her.
You'll never have better spy master than.
Right.
And her entire dig was just being aware of everything and having people tell her so she could tell Gustav. So it was
What
a
was
career
the
upgrade for her.
what was the old guy's name again? The guy from Udengard?
Gerhard Schiller.
I'm thinking Gerhardt as military commander. Since Alexa is no longer in the running, and I think
That
Bruce is
makes
not
sense.
something. It's not. I don't think it's something Bruce would take up.
No.
Right. As an old soldier, Gerhard seems perfect.
Right. So
Bruce just seems like a fun person.
Certainly, Captain Schiller is more than happy to do that. It's a pretty easy fit for him, although eventually he does want to go back to Untergard, as do refugees that are there, but they recognize the danger is too great to
Well,
try to do that.
I
So,
mean, he should
yeah.
understand then, as military commander, that would fall under his purview to make happen.
yes, and he would certainly start looking into that. As far as finding Dee, how would you go about
I'm sorry,
offering
finding
her a
what?
job?
Oh,
Sorry.
D. D's her name. Sorry. I thought you were asking
Yes.
finding D. I'm like, is that a joke?
I'm always finding
No.
Get me the D.
D. I mean,
Well,
it-
Victor's
yeah.
a nice little gossip buddy. He knows Gustav. Probably could go to the Mages Guild in Middenheim and ask him. And of
Oh.
course, if Gustav isn't available himself, then Bertel technically is paying his dues.
I mean, he's noble, so he's entitled to help from the Mages Guild, like
Oh,
he's part of the
absolutely.
Empire. So yes, he could request, and Gustav could pull some weight, like you owe me, guys.
Oh. Okay. Well, are you trying to go there physically yourself, or are you trying to write a letter and have it be delivered, or like?
I mean, if it's me, I'm writing a letter. That's
Okay.
how I communicate long distance.
Yeah.
We do have to get supplies from Middenheim too. It's very possible that Victor could deliver it himself when he has to go and deal with this.
Well, in that case, then I'd prefer to everybody make a common knowledge check of the Empire.
Oh
Ooh.
boy. It's one of the few things I know.
Bleh. Me no no.
Wow.
You know what?
my!
I had an
Wow.
84% chance to get it right, and I didn't.
I'm a fortune point that.
That's why I'm worried
Failed
about the
harder.
intelligence thing, because Bertrand is 4 times smarter than Waldemar.
Yeah, but like I said, it doesn't have to be. Like, just because I'm smart doesn't mean I'm gonna make the right decisions.
Yeah.
You're not just roll on intelligence, you're like,
Like
here's my opinion, and here's why I think.
mm,
I need that voice in my ear. You're my Jiminy Cricket.
yeah, but his
Looks like
focus
you're
on mercy might score his judgment.
Well, you're not, though. Remember, you're the Chief Justice now.
Yeah, oh, right. Well, it will definitely affect his judgment.
Well, I mean, we're
Yeah.
just basically
Looks like,
deciding what the downfall of the province is gonna be when we get
Yeah.
overwhelmed
Well,
by
essentially-
outlaws.
essentially what's happened. A couple of you are rolling the wrong types of common knowledge, but
Yeah, I realized that a little late.
you know that the road to Middenheim is actually incredibly treacherous right now. Closest villages are rumored to have monsters in them. The one that's probably the freebie one is Winson. Apparently, there is rumors that a Hydra with a metal chariot still chained to it is hiding out in the town. Seemed to be some sort of monster left over from the war that sort of made its lair there.
I mean, I know the road to Middenheim is treacherous. I lost 100 people on it.
But sometimes you gotta have communications. So
Yeah,
but
we
then-
have birds. Remember, I think we
Yeah,
covered that, how fast
birds.
a bird would get there.
Okay.
Very fast.
Yeah, no, the carrier pigeons would probably be your best bet. Try to do something
If
like
only
that.
I'd gone the spy career, I'd have 4 of them.
But pigeons are delicious. We ate them all. Victor cooked them.
I don't know, some of these pigeons burst into flames.
May not be like a too far
Auto
stretch of the
roast
truth
pigeon.
either,
Yeah.
because everybody was running out of food near the end of that.
Yeah.
Okay, but we will say that there at least one carrier pigeon was still left and away from Victor's greasy mitts. Yeah, another kind of so the letter has gone out. The other thing that was brought up is of crime and lawlessness.
Oh,
so
no.
there actually are reports of large numbers of mutants in the woods, as well as people who are stealing or what's the word like that. So as far
Banditry?
as Grim and yeah, rules go, how exactly do you want to things keep order? Essentially, I guess is the question.
Mm.
This is for Ark, since he's the one who's determining this now.
Well, no, actually, it's
Yeah.
Walder.
Now it's Voldemort now.
Waldemar.
Yeah, we have to
Okay.
find, after we've covered this, we have to find Mordred a position.
Yeah.
It's my
Well, then
intent
he's
to keep
holding
all of the
qualified
players.
for.
I'm sorry, go ahead, Ark.
When he's wholly unqualified for, but I will do my best.
Well, apparently
sure-
they've replaced you with an
sure,
NPC for that, so we've got to come up with something new. Crafts. Something craft related. Something about rebuilding or building new.
Chef architect? Chief architect?
Sure, chief
Engineer is
architect.
certainly a
Master of the Architect Guild?
oldie boy.
Master of crafts.
Craft sounds.
So that way you could be in charge of the docks, you could be in charge of new farms, new buildings. I mean, it's not within your purview, but it's something you have knowledge about crafting, so...
Before advising the Lord, could I make a gossip check among the refugee to see how they feel about all this?
As the newcomer coming in,
Can I reroll that?
Chris.
Oh, I'm not. Oh, I only have one reroll now. Oh god.
Yes, because you rolled for 1 fate point.
Yes. No. I have two fate. I have 3 fate points, but you can only roll one.
On the
Gustav
skill.
are like unlimited rerolls. Basically.
That's right. Yes, you've got to kind of get yourself into a different
Yeah.
mindset now. Well, as a Shullian, you very much are getting a reputation of being a healer. People around town know a little bit who you are, and they are inclined to trust you. It seems to be that most people are not so concerned about how things are run, just so much as that things are safe and, kick down the gates to eat everybody.
All right. So, I'll advise my lord to enlist people to mount a better militia and maybe conscript people who have committed crimes into watchmen to ease the mind of other people and put them to something productive for the town.
Oh, there are a large number of hunters, actually, who were brought in Berthold's group. So a fair number of them have actually been elves. So you can certainly have them act as watchmen and patrols.
So you're thinking, what, like a penal watchman?
Yes.
And you think that's a good idea?
With
There are a
supervision
large
from-
number of ex-convicts, as a matter of fact, as
I
well.
find you guilty of breaking into this house, so now, from now on, it's your job to watch over this house. Please don't rob it again.
with careful examination from other morally bent member of the watch. Yes, I think it could work in rehabilitated.
Tell you what, I find this all very trepidatious, but I trust in your judgment, Waldem. I rubber stamp this.
Thank you, my lord. I'm sweating like fuck. I'm fucking this country up.
We'll
What do you
find
think
out
this
in a month
is?
or so when the reports come back from from the nobles of the towns. Sir, crime has run rampant.
Waldemar will preach to this ex-convict that they got a chance, they got a new home, they got a new beginning. They can count on him to help them through all of this, and they have the mercy of Shalia to help them get back on their feet and become upstanding citizens.
What
But-
sort of skills do you have to convince these ex-convicts to reform and that they should not steal and rob and do bad things?
Hypnotism. No. I have intimidate as a summons of.
Fire and brimstone?
I could gossip them. Try to be their friend. Yes. No, that would be charm, right?
Arm would probably be most appropriate in this case if you're trying to convince them of the virtues to stay clean and stay pure of all.
Thing is, I have 19 charm.
You're not a very charming fellow, yes.
Not yet. No, I'm not yet used to, preaching.
You said you got audience.
So I'll tell them my story and tell them that if I don't help, Grimmingham will end up like my village, burnt to the ground with no one left standing. They are a tough guy. They can do this. They're not about to let I try to instill fear in them, but just they in a healthy way.
Okay. So
I'm gonna reroll that. Shit.
Yeah, that didn't really go over well. In fact, a couple of them are laughing at it, like, "Oh, check out the Shelly and Nancy boy. He's gonna tell us how to live our lives correctly."
Strike to stun. No, sorry. Can I will try every day to convey them of I will not give up.
I actually like the
You
idea
know-
of you striking to stun somebody. Like, he's laughing at me. Boom! Make an example of him.
You know what?
That could be
I think I
fun.
would. I think I'd like to throw some good cop into the bad cop here, right?
Okay.
Sure.
I think I would like to, in part of this, to offer, quote, just, a free meal if they want to come in to the inn. Just sit down, I'll get you a pot of porridge, no questions asked, and we can all just talk and be friends for a bit. That's all. No complications, no extras, nothing. Just come in and have a meal. You'll be fine. And hopefully that'll get them at least around to continue talking with our new friend.
Sure.
So, would they take up that offer?
Certainly would. As far as free food and free meals and whatnot go, but perhaps you could do a charm to see if just to see how far that'll get you.
Alright, let's see how many people take it up.
Does initiate?
Oof.
Everybody's rolling shit today.
Does initiate?
I could go ahead and blow my other fortune point for the pre-session here and give it a go. I'll do it.
Does initiate?
I rolled
Oh,
three
it's even
higher.
worse. Okay, well, yeah.
No good.
Everybody likes free stuff, so sure, they'll come in and do that, and they probably won't start problems.
Well, I guess that'll be on my hands then. We'll see how it works out.
Good job, guys. Good job.
I'm really going to be a helicopter parent them
Have you sinned
Come
yet? Are you
rolling
thinking
into
of
the inn
sinning?
with like 5 guards every day.
What? What did you
Rolling
say?
into the inn with like 5 guards every day?
Yeah. No. No, just me and them. Around nobody would eat the Shalian priest. Nobody in their own mind, even criminals. So I'll be with them when they do everything all around, and I'll praise them when they do good things.
So yeah, you are kind of like an overprotective parent a little bit.
Yes, but I am using positive reinforcement, which is the best
Good.
way of.
I like your hands-on approach, but I don't think it's gonna play out well with 4,000 people
No.
and growing.
I don't think it's gonna play well at all.
I mean,
certainly as a Shalian, you've got your hands full. There's healing. That's always somebody. Time is hurting. Some kid falls down and breaks their ankle. There's arrow wounds. There's diseases that are kind of weird, rashes and such. There's always stuff to do as setting up the little chapel that you've tried to. Guess it's more of a shack, but it does have people that come for mass every week, so that's good.
All right.
Bart. Morden. Oh, you are interested in setting up a forge, correct?
Yes, and it looks like it's now become my job to rebuild the entire crafts district.
Sure.
So we'll get that started.
So is there which particular pieces do you want to emphasize first? Like, which do you want to set up your forge first? Do you want to see if you can get a water mill set up, or maybe getting the old industry going? Do you want to focus on rebuilding defenses? Do you want to maybe shore up farms for food production? What are you thinking?
Do also remember that a portion of the money remaining in the coffers was specifically to this, so
Yes.
you have the
So-
added benefits.
Well, can I focus on more than one at a time? Because it does seem
Sure.
like food would be important, as would defenses.
Okay, so those being the two more, I guess the where the money and resources are going. It's sort of an automatic assumption that you're able to clear out the rubble and complete the job that the survivors were unfortunately unable or unmotivated enough to do.
Turns out doing it with your bare hands isn't a great idea.
Exactly. So, with some more time and effort, even as a dwarf, just through your own culture, you know how to do basic machines, simple machines like levers and pulleys and things like that to
Yes.
move large rubble and stone. And as far as the farming situation, again, the funds that are coming through have been gratefully used to rebuild fences, to purchase livestock, to even get in some not quite mages or magical support, but people who are to get the soil going. And the good thing is that based upon where you are on the map, you're close by to a river, so the and the soil quality is very, very good. So if you
The watermill might be important if in this era they had not like water-powered hammers for industries, so we could start getting like tools made out of steel.
can certainly use a water mill to use hammering kind of motion, I guess, or you can use it to power bellows and things like that.
Yes, because I do think getting at least some infrastructure in place for the various people who run forges in the town would be helpful.
Okay. So as far as building something like that, or getting that operational, make a gossip check to see if you can find craftsmen who would be of that sort of specialty, maybe even engineering types.
I'm probably going to fail at this. I don't get any bonuses.
Since you are kind of the maven in charge, I would give you a plus 20.
Thank you. Could have been worse,
Yeah.
but not much.
I've left my empire in good hands.
Well, Morden is more of the doer, so he asks around a little bit, but there's so much more work to do. Certainly, it's something you could do if you had some sort of an argument for which skills to use to work on that. Let's see here. Things like the trade skill would be good.
Well, I have tradesmith and weaponsmith.
Okay. Well, if you're using the water mill to sort of create it, like to hook it up to a forging system or mines. Hold
then
on a minute. I forgot. I remembered something. So I recall back when we raided that dwarven keep just outside of Middenheim, there were actually books on engineering and those sorts of things. Did you happen to keep those?
Oh, I took them all to the Mage Guild.
Oh,
Gustav took him away.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Mordrin and I were not there for that.
No, sorry, to the Temple Verona. No, I think, yeah, to the Temple Verona.
well, let's see here, Morden. Do you have the search skill?
Yes.
Okay. Well, you might try searching in the keep. I'm assuming Berthold will let you do that to see if the castle library or maybe there's some materials there that might have something vaguely similar to that. If they did have a some point. You'd think that they'd have some information about it.
All right. Now, do I get a bonus for the Lord's Library or no?
Since it's mostly in, I guess the personal effects are gone, but most of the material is still there. The keep itself has a small library, maybe only about 20 feet by 20 feet. I'd give yourself a plus 20 bonus toward it. There's a lot of information there.
Damn it, that was a good chance too.
Yeah.
I'm going to
Well,
use
good-
a 14 point on that.
Just see the one roll.
I took it off my sheet before I rolled again.
Oh, boo. Well, even with plus 20, it wouldn't be enough. You're just, again, in the library, it seems like there's it's not organized. Whoever did put this all together, you're finding books about genealogy with books on law. Then you find a ledger about crop yields, and you swear you even find a book about a lusty Argonian maid in there. So there's all sorts of stuff. You're not really sure what it is. It's probable there's some sort of book in there about that, but who knows?
Damn.
So, in the meantime, though, since it is a pre-session, I guess, or a when our characters will go out and do things, it's assumed, though, that after the first couple months, you've been successful in organizing the rebuilding of the defenses, so that certainly if 300 or so beastmen tried to attack again, they would be unsuccessful. The walls are patched up, but they are made of stone. And you have successfully gotten the farms going, which is probably the most important part, so that as time goes off, the food imports will diminish. Certainly after the first harvest, you won't need them anymore.
Something else I would have done in the first month, if not the first half of the month,
Okay.
is that I would have bestowed a noble title to my advisors.
Ah, so what noble title are you bestowing upon them?
The title of noble.
They're just lords.
Yeah, I mean,
Just,
just yeah, just lords, I guess.
so are they knightly lords, like knight errant, or is it just a straight? You're identified as being somebody important as a lord, but beyond rank, it's
Right, I'm not giving them like noble rank. I'm giving them noble title. They have they have access to high law instead of being able to
Okay.
judged by common law. And
Probably
all
also
the
sets precedent if you wanted to say, like, you get to control this village now. It's yours.
yeah, but would you want
speaking
that?
of.
Who knows?
Well, to finish that idea, yeah, it's the good news about having high justice is that if some random person accuses you of something, it's pretty much said, okay, well, I get to be judged by a trial of my peers, so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, only
which
nobles can
essentially
judge other
means-
nobles.
Other nobles.
Waldemar will be very thankful, grateful, sorry. But
This
try
is,
to not let it go to his head.
Okay, so is there anything else to add before we kind of start the clock up?
I should probably dip into what was previously behind the scenes stuff, but I'm now I'm no longer playing the clandestine game because nobody found that fun but me. So
Oh.
there are things that I will bring out to the open now for the rest of you, the players, as things that need to be covered. Like, for example, I have a troll hanging out in the woods that probably should have something to do.
Gasp!
I have a troll.
What are you going to do with your pet troll?
Does he like rock meat?
Well, I mean, the troll should probably be patrolling for these beastman hordes, but also, hold on, I have a pack of dogs, chaos hounds rather, who are all with him. I just need to make sure that I still have. Yeah, no,
Still
the
have
other
all
ones.
the hounds that they haven't been eaten by the troll.
No, I was just making sure that my, I forgot that my, maledictors were all dead. My sideline operations have not always been going to plan. But yeah, no, I also need to send Alice out with a horde of my cultists to Utgard, which would probably happen. Probably you want to make it fall outside of the 2-month thing, but I just want to make it aware that's something I had planned to do and go. So that could come back sometime after if that's what you want.
Sure.
Because Alice is in charge of my cultists.
Okay. So she's sort of in charge of this sort of, I guess it's almost like a social movement you've kind of created where word has gone out amongst various refugees that you're the one trying to recolonize or re-establish Hawkland because it's a smoldering ruin.
Well, Alice was the one that was in charge of the building efforts for my Blood Bowl arena. But she was also like the middle ground between the cult and my normal persona, so I was never seen as being a cult leader. Otherwise, she's basically like the purple hand. I'm like Palpatine, and she's my Vader, right?
Okay.
You are the purple hand of this region right now.
Right.
Yeah. If that's where you were.
But yeah, no,
yeah,
if like the hammer were to come down on the purple hand around here, it would go up to her and then stop because there's no real connection between me and her in that respect.